Hello friends, welcome to a new video, new topic. Girish, Braintrain. Rejections. Sometimes or the other in life, we have all faced rejections. Rejections can be in the form of a neglect, a refusal, a denial, maybe a surreptitious or furtive overlooking of our merits and accomplishments and credentials by somebody, and can associate with humiliations, insult, and the trauma and the pain it can cause is really tremendous. Nobody can so know because we all have faced rejections, regardless of your age or your stage or your status or your situations occur time and again. You cannot avoid them. You get rejected in many occasions, in many facets of life. Look around, we can see people, examples who were cut short by rejections in life, refusals in life. They were denied of opportunities, denied of chances, and life must have taken a different course, making them a little more dwarf. It's really very painful. Actually, every human being should have a peculiar amount of resilience and an ability to bounce back from rejections which can confuse you, injure you, and hurt you, and can cause disasters in life, maybe conclusively. So what is required is an expanded threshold to bear that, an ability to be resilient and bounce back like a tightly aired rubber ball. That's very important. Now see, the pain and the trauma rejections in life can cause is very difficult to be withstood. But as we have to go ahead in life on a stronger way, and the journey has to continue and perpetuate, we are definitely expected to be finding skills of proaction or pre-action towards rejections in life, because rejections in life cannot be avoided. Most of these people around us, so-called achievers, so-called life established personalities, if you ask them, they would all have stories and sad sagas of their experiences in life, having faced such vehement rejections in life. Let's look at a few examples of really well-known and famous people and how they faced and rather conquered rejections, overcame rejections in their life, in their respective lives and periods. Now, a glittering example always in such studies of how rejection is taken care of by people, our Indian icon Amitabh Bachchan comes in the first row. As we all know, Amitabh Bachchan, as a young aspirant job seeker, one of his first approaches for a job was to All India Radio, Calcutta. And he was very mercilessly refused by Calcutta All India Radio. Amitabh Bachchan, as you know, is the son of the great and famous Harivamsh Rai Bachchan, the Hindi poet who is very well known all over India. And Harivamsh Rai Bachchan was a friend of Jawaharlal Nehru. But anyway, Amitabh Bachchan was refused. And the ground upon which he was refused a post in radio announcer's post was still more funny. His most disapproved factor in interview was his voice. They said, your voice is not suitable for a radio announcer. You know, today when we say radio announcer, it may not be a big job, but those days, radio was the only entertainment means for all of us. Cinemas were not as common, theaters were not this many in our places. So radio was much dependent means of entertainment and information those days. So a radio announcer's job was something really glamorous, maybe equal to film star those days. But Amitabh Bachchan was refused mercilessly and on the ground that his voice was not good enough. And the fate has it that the same voice of Amitabh Bachchan played a big role in making him later as a star of the Indian cinema. And he's a big international star also. He is one of the most considered Indian icon when it comes to representing India. So such was his ability to be resilient and bounce back and resurrect from depressions of rejection. So it's a great example, Amitabh Bachchan, how a man can face rejections and go on the top of the world. And Amitabh Bachchan characteristically, when he went ahead, he faced another setback in life, which could have been his last, his final. But again, the same ability to bounce back helped him to overcome that also. Probably that was the worst of its type in any celebrity's life. He even went to the edge of becoming a pauper and a bankrupt. I once heard he was yelling in an interview that he was not even having sufficient money for poisoning himself. Such was the plight. But from there also, he came like a phoenix bird. And that coming second phase of his life was still more glamorous than the first phase. Such is the ability of resilience in a person like Amitabh Bachchan, something to be studied and followed. We have enough and more examples of people who faced rejections in life, vehement rejections in life, and went on to the top of the world. Another example is again commonly Bill Gates, his relation with Harvard University, how he was allowed himself to be rejected and all that is well known to us. J.K. Rowling, the famous writer of Harry Potter series, she was initially not accepted and she was on the verge of being out of the circuit. But later on, she became one of the most popular writers in the world. Theo Van Gogh was one who faced rejections to start with, then became world famous and renowned. And again, from the world of cinema, we have Steven Spielberg. Steven Spielberg, the name itself is arousing the thoughts in us of excellent appreciation towards the cinemas he made. Jaws or Jurassic Park, Schindler's List, or Saving Private Ryan, all those beautiful movies were made by him. But you know one thing, he was, as a beginner, as a film lover, as a pupil for cinema, he was again very ruthlessly denied by Southern California Institute of Cinema and Arts. Not once, twice. He didn't bother about that. He went on and became one of the most renowned filmmakers in the world, directors in the world. And he has, I think he has a few Oscars to credit and few Golden Globe awards as well, and plethora of awards from all corners, all countries, or far-reaching small corners of the world. Such was the recognition he amassed, but he was denied an opportunity for formal learning of cinema. So they came and remained in the flow and breeze of life unfazed. Friends, we have another beautiful example of how somebody can face and overcome and still go ahead making huge success in life after rejections. We have an example from the pride of India, Ratan Tata. TATA'S, as we know, are prominent in all almost all fields of industries in India. There are many industrial field they are numero uno. And in time of Ratan Tata, I think it was in 2000, no, 1997, he felt that Tata's don't have a passenger car division. They were kings in monopolists in trucks in India on Indian roads, but they started feeling the deficiency of passenger car division, and he wanted to enter into that and started Tata Indica. The model of cars were released, Tata Indica, in 1997. Within 1 year, the company proved to be the model, and the company proved to be a utter failure. He was absolutely disappointed. So 1 year down the line, he was sure that he is not going to revive this unit of Tata, which is meant for manufacturing and spreading Indian roads with Tata passenger cars. So he was disappointed because the legacy of Tata's doesn't permit a unit with loss making to continue in the conglomerate. So he was disturbed thoroughly. He wanted to dispose of the unit. Fortunately, American Ford, the largest passenger car manufacturers in the world, Ford was ready to buy Tata Indica in fact. So Ratan Tata himself with his officials went to Detroit in US for a discussion with the then MD of Ford, Bill Ford. Bill Ford, in the process of discussions, almost insulted Tata. That's what Tata felt. During the process of negotiations, Bill Ford, it seems, asked Tata, if you don't know car business, why did you enter into that business? And if at all I buy your unit now, it will be favor and charity done to you. That was far more than what Tata can bear. Same night he came back to India. Once he came back, he started focusing more on this. His full weight was put on the Tata passenger car division. And another 2-3 years' time, Tata Indica, that brand, became one of the most sought after brands on Indian cars. That's how we faced rejection and made it an additional booster for establishing and re-establishing a firm of his own. As it went on, in 2008, when the world was facing an economic recession and absolute financial crunch internationally, Ford was in financial perils. They wanted someone to buy them out and help. Tata readily accepted their offer to buy their JLR division, Jaguar Land Rover division. He offered to go to Detroit, but Bill Ford himself was happily coming to Bombay. They had a discussion in Bombay, and in the discussion, Bill Ford told Ratan Tata, see, you are doing a favor to us. You are doing a favor, you are doing a charity to us, because we are in absolute financial crunch. And you are buying out JLR means you are saving us out. You are helping us out of a financial crisis. Tata kept his studied silence very royally. So, friends, rejections can be taken positively like this. The list is long, very long, of people who have faced rejections unfaced and went on making great scratches from that positively. And still, the list of people who were doomed and destroyed and ruined and rattled by rejections at many stages of life is a million times larger than this. We all faced rejections in life. Some of us were succumbed to the pressures of rejection, the bruises, the rejections and denials and refusals and humiliations and insults associated with that cost for us. We were really in a bad shape, and most of us around are 1 inch shorter in what they made in life as their achievement, mainly because they have really faced rejections and they were unable to bear and overcome that. And as we all know, What is required is that ability to be resilient in cases of rejections, to face them, and the ability to bounce back from them and rebuild oneself. And of course, to expand the threshold of bearing such rejections and insults and injuries. Now, one greatest thing, one plus point, rather one plusest thing in facing when we are trying ourselves to equip to face rejections in life, we are all well trained in facing rejections before we are born, is a fact. If you have that knowledge that we are well trained, well exposed to rejections before we are born, every human being, man or woman, that too we learned it from our own mothers. You know, when the moment we are conceived, the first attempt of our mothers was to reject us, eject us, and expel us. That's not done emotionally or consciously by a mother. Any human, it's a human tendency. Once a foreign body enters your system, you use all the might of the physique to expel it and eject it. So that's what exactly our mothers were using very instinctively. So in that process, we were given training to resist rejections and remain cool and overcome rejections and get out of it and be strong as we are today. So friends, any time when we face rejections in life, we must be very sure that we are pre-trained in facing rejections, and we are trained by our own mother, the most beloved, the most caring person in our life, mother. And that should make us confident. That should make us really very much well feeling that we have every piece of equipment in us in facing and overcoming rejections. And no rejection can shatter us, no rejection can ruin us, no rejection can perish our possibilities in life and affect our accomplishments and possibilities in life. The confidence is, it's our mothers who trained us in facing rejections. It's a very important realization. Friends, any time in life when you face rejection in any form, as we said, when you face rejections, remember two things. One is, you are well trained, rather pre-trained in facing rejections very specially, and you are a specialist in facing rejections. You were trained by your mothers, basically. When you were an embryo in your mother's womb, you were being mock rejected by your mother, and every attempt was made by a mother's womb to eject you, expel you. But you resisted that. So that was a golden opportunity, mercifully and lovingly given to all human beings by their respective mothers. So we are well trained in that. Second thing, whenever you face rejections, remember, rejection is a tool of the mother nature to make you stronger than you are. So use that opportunity to build up your strength and bounce back. That ability to overcome any rejection is nothing but the ability to be resilient. Be resilient and be strong and overcome any rejections. Because any rejection will have to make us strong. The merit of the strength is the strength of the merit. All the best.